YouTube, what up? It's your boy George here, and I wanted to bring another topic to you guys. As you can see, we are in my home today. Welcome home. Hey, if you in here, you gotta know how to conduct yourself. You feel me? Can I trust you to do that? Can I? All right, then you can stay. All right, if you don't, I'm gonna kick you out. All right, repeat. I want to talk to y'all today about leadership. So I'm on my second career now. It's kind of crazy to say, but I've been lucky enough to hold different leadership positions throughout my career. My first one, that is, and that was in the military. That's pretty much what I know. So one thing that the military does do, along with other jobs, is that it thrusts you into leadership positions. And whether you're ready for it or not is on you, okay? You kind of don't have a choice sometimes, and you have to do what you're told, and then you have to lead other people to do what is expected of them. So this can be good and bad, because maybe you're not strong in the leadership area. Well, guess what? You'll be forced to figure it out, okay? Sometimes the best way to learn is to be thrown in the fire. You feel me? All right, so I got 5 tips today on how to be a leader, but how to be an introverted leader. I would consider myself an introvert. I'm not normally the life of the party. I'm typically very reserved. I kind of like to keep to myself, kind of like a lone wolf, and that's just me. I mean, I have times where I'm in the middle of everything and it's fine, but my natural temperament is introverted, reserved, keeping to myself, okay? So there have been challenges with leadership while staying true to my personality. So I wanted to speak to those challenges, and I want to speak to how I've overcome those challenges, okay? So if you're an introvert and you've been put into a leadership position, I'm going to show you what you can do to help be a better leader, okay? These are things that have helped me be successful to a certain extent as an introverted leader. So here's what I got for you. Number 1, if you have the ability to do so, plan your day the night before. Plan your day the night before. Write down what you're gonna do. Write down what's expected of you. Write down the game plan. Write down the objective. Right? And then visualize everything in your mind going well the night before. Okay? So that's the night before. Then the morning of, wake up very early. Earlier than everyone, earlier than you would usually wake up, and prepare. Get your mind right. Get settled. Okay? I think this is different from natural extroverts than it is for natural introverts, because as an introvert, you're typically more reserved. You're typically more in your shell. So when you wake up early and when you plan before, you kind of feel prepared already. And what that is going to do is it'll cause that anxiousness to kind of go away, because, you know, as an introvert, you're always in your head. You're just a natural overthinker. Okay, trust me, I know it sounds crazy, but if you just take more time to yourself and more time to plan, it'll almost be like clockwork throughout the day, how things just kind of hit how you pictured it. Okay. Number 2, if you're a leader, more often than not, you have people of different personalities under you. So it really helps to know your personnel, know who you're dealing with, know your team. So if you're on a team of 10 people and you have certain objectives, you got to pick out who's introverted and extroverted on your team. You have to pick out who's single, who's married, who has a volatile personality, who's more easygoing, who likes this, who likes that. Do you have guys or gals that eat breakfast? Do you have guys who are, just don't care for eating? Do you have people who are hard chargers? Do you have people who just want to go to the job to have a check? You know what I'm saying? You have different types of people on your team, so it is up to you to know who you're dealing with, just so you're not caught off guard. And most of these tips, by the way, are going to be in the context of planning beforehand, because as an introvert, you are a thinker. You are a thinker, and sometimes on the job and in the heat of the moment, you don't have time to think. So it kind of helps to have these things stored in your subconscious before the time comes. Okay. Number 3, I'm gonna say give room for error. Give room for things not going right. So what this does as an introvert, if you kind of give room for things to not go well, you can kind of prepare yourself mentally and say, okay, this is my plan for the day. But I've kind of worked it in my schedule for things to not go well at certain times. And I've given myself and my team enough time to recover from said things. Okay, you also have to understand that you can't control things that you can't control, and you kind of have to surrender to the circumstances a little bit. All right, so it can be kind of tough because as a planner and as a leader, you want to get ahead of the curve. You want to be proactive as opposed to reactive, and tenfold as an introvert. Okay, but you have to give room for things to go wrong. You have to give room for error. All right, next. Master small talk. Oh man. I hate small talk. I cannot stand it. But it is a necessary skill. You got to talk about the weather. You got to talk about what this one ate last night. You got to talk about the game. You got to talk about what Aunt Susie did over the weekend. You got to talk about the kids, the family. You at least have to have the skill. You don't, okay, I take it back that you have to do it, but it definitely helps build rapport amongst you and your team, okay? And what that will do is it'll gain commitment from your team as opposed to compliance. You want commitment from your team as opposed to compliance. And what small talk will do is it'll gain familiarity. It'll gain rapport. They will feel like, your team will feel like you actually care about them, as opposed to that they're just doing a job and you're just doing a job and you guys are just there. Okay, if you can build commitment amongst your team rather than compliance, that energy is infectious and everybody wants to be there. You know what I'm saying? And so small talk is a necessary evil. As an introvert, we don't really care for the small talk. We want to know the deep stuff. Do you believe in aliens? Do you like, what happens in the afterlife? Like, we want to talk about the deep stuff, politics, all that. Okay, but sometimes on a job, when there's objectives that have to be done, there's just not time for that. And it's kind of tricky because you don't want to blur the lines amongst supervisor and subordinate. You know what I'm saying? You always want to maintain that level of authority, and it can kind of be tricky to talk about and kind of cringy to talk about. But at the end of the day, when you've been given a task and you've been put in this leadership position, you have to maintain the respect of your people. And sometimes that can be kind of hard. You have to be the asshole, you know what I mean? But it helps that if the time comes for you to be the asshole, that you've gained the rapport of your people beforehand. Okay, it just makes for an easier transition amongst the tough times. Okay. And lastly, this is an oxymoron. This tip is an oxymoron, but I call it fake it till you make it, but stay within character. Fake it till you make it, but stay within character. What I mean by that is, as an introvert, like I said earlier, all you want to do is go home, get you some snacks, maybe watch your favorite show, curl up into a ball for a little bit, crawl into your shell, and just be alone sometimes, okay? Look, in a leadership position, when you have objectives, you're at the job, you have tasks to complete, you have to delegate, you won't be able to do that. okay? Maybe you'll be able to escape for like 2 to 5 minutes at a time, but your team needs you, and your team needs you to be present, and your team needs you to stay attached to the outcome, okay? Because they're gonna be disengaged at times as well, and you have to be the one to reel them back in, okay? So what do I mean by fake it till you make it? You have to play like you're an extrovert. You have to play like you like being the center of attention. You have to, or at least that you're comfortable with it, okay? You have to play as if you've done this before, as if you've been here before, and that will gain the comfortability of your people as well. You know, they see how comfortable you are. They say, hey, this guy or gal is very relaxed in this setting. Maybe I should be too, okay? And you kind of give off that energy, and they can feed off of that. If you're confident, it creates confidence within your people as well, okay? Now, when I mean fake it till you make it, but stay within character, I mean, yeah, you're playing this extroverted character at times, but you don't have to be necessarily outside of yourself. You don't have to be fake to the point where you're doing things that, or doing or saying things that are not you, that are not true to yourself, okay? You know, you can still be uncomfortable with certain situations, but you don't have to necessarily, I'm trying to find a different way to word it, but be different in a sense of that you're fake. I know it's an oxymoron, fake it till you make it, but stay true to your character. But I really just want to drive home the point that you're going to be uncomfortable. Know that you're going to be uncomfortable, okay? But you don't have to do or say things that are outside of you as a person, as an individual, okay? You can still stay true to yourself while being in this position for this short span of time, okay? So those are my 5 tips of being in a leadership position as an introvert, an introverted leader, okay, so to speak. And we've had them throughout history. I consider, Michael Jordan to be an introvert, Barack Obama, whether you hate him or love him, and many, many others that I just can't really think about. But, introverts are very much among us. Sometimes we don't even know who they are because they play that role in front of the camera so well. Okay, so we can definitely take a page out of that book and understand that, for a short span of time, sometimes you have to be outside of yourself in order to get things done. Okay. All right, y'all. Those are my tips. Thanks for watching. If you have any input on introvert leadership, please shed some light. If you disagree with some things that I said, please shed some light. If you agree with some things that I said, please shed some light. And I appreciate y'all. Peace.